Demonic canines can be found in stories of cultures from around the globe. Though any big, angry, aggressive dog can be terrifying, the hellhound in any iteration is much, much worse, closely associated with death wherever it's found. Depending on who you ask, the hellhound can kill you with just a few glances. In other cultures, simply hearing its howl can spell demise. Some versions suck blood, some are as large as a horse, while others actually have shape-shifting abilities. Most cultures seem to agree, however, on the hellhound being extremely strong, fast, and having incredibly foul breath. In the case of Cerberus, you're looking at a 3-headed hellhound. Triple yikes. Number 9, Chimera. This monstrous creature looks like a science experiment gone wrong. Though there is some variance, the classic Chimera has the head of a lion, an admittedly cool start, a tail with a snake's head on it, again, badass, and a goat's head sticking out of its back. Yikes. Yeah, that's where it takes a sharp left turn into terror territory and brings to mind David Cronenberg's The Fly. The Chimera hails from Greek mythology and counts the aforementioned Cerberus among its siblings. While Cerberus is terrifyingly intimidating, it's the oddness of the Chimera that inspires a certain grotesque fear. Of course, its ability to breathe fire and signal impending disaster don't hurt either. Number 8, Dybbuk. This distinct brand of Jewish ghost is a cut above the rest when it comes to wreaking havoc in a person's life. The slightest religious doubt or misstep makes a body vulnerable to possession by these otherworldly entities. Dybbuk roughly translates to clinging spirit, and refers to a malicious ghost that, rather than moving on, latches on to other living things. Should it find its way into the body of a living person, it can have disastrous influence. To avoid catching your very own Dybbuk, avoid purchasing old wine cabinets off of eBay, and be sure to get your mezuzahs from a quality source. Number 7, Dragon. These mythic creatures require very little introduction. Sure, you may have fantasized about Khaleesi giving you a dragon of your very own, but though they are indeed awe-inspiring, let's be honest, would it not be pants-wettingly terrifying to meet one face-to-face? A colossal flying reptilian beast with a nearly impenetrable hide, massive gnashing teeth, and who could forget the ability to breathe fire? How is that not the stuff of nightmares? They are absolutely captivating on screen, but a world in which dragons are real is a world that any sane person would not want to inhabit. Have you seen Reign of Fire? Go watch Reign of Fire. Number 6, Kraken. Deep sea fishing sure sounds like fun, until you start to contemplate all the water beneath your feet. Honestly, space may be the final frontier, but just think of what might be lurking miles beneath the ocean's surface. You know what? Why bother using your imagination when we could just release the Kraken? It's long been spoken about in hushed voices by sailors of Scandinavian cultures, particularly those coming from Greenland and Norway. The Kraken, in its most popular interpretation, is described as a gargantuan octopus-like creature with the ability to sink ships. So yeah, points for staying on dry land. Number 5, Incubus and Succubus. Sex might be a whole lot of fun, but it also comes with risks like unwanted pregnancies and STIs, and that's when you're having sex with just like a regular human being. Should you be a woman visited by an incubus, or a man seduced by a succubus, the demonic romp in the sheets, consensual or not, could cost you your health, your sanity, or your very life. Though they might appear attractive at a glance, you should be on the lookout for talons or serpent-like tails. Incubi and succubi are not to be fornicated with if you can help it. Seriously, they apparently get really weird in bed. Number 4, Werewolves. Though the monsters that populate myths of old are indeed the stuff of nightmares, few can inspire fear quite like werewolves. Why? Because a werewolf isn't just a vicious creature. It's a vicious creature that you yourself could very well become. The beast within unleashed, an uncontrollable animal driven by pure instinct. The concept of werewolves has plagued humankind dating back to the Middle Ages, if not earlier. A human being, after being bitten, cursed, or otherwise afflicted, transforms into a wolf or wolf-like creature. After transforming, most werewolves have no control over their actions, and could very well harm those nearest and dearest to them. That is pretty f***ing scary. Number 3, Baba Yaga. Are you familiar with this particular witch? If not, you probably actually slept well as a young child. But don't worry, this terrifying creature from Eastern European folklore is scary enough to make up for lost time by robbing you of your sleep now. She lives in a cabin in the woods that stands on 2 tall chicken legs and rides around in a mortar wielding a pestle. But don't let these eccentricities fool you. Though she can be benevolent at times, she is truly startling to behold given her gnarled, witchy appearance, and she's got a well-documented penchant for human flesh, children in particular. The English have black anise, but Baba Yaga is even worse. Number 2. Vampires. They want to suck your blood. Seriously though, while Twilight made them relatively benign and What We Do in the Shadows made them hilarious, vampires, when stripped of all the modern pop culture baggage, are downright terrifying. Sexy? Sometimes. But for centuries, dating back to medieval times, these blood-sucking fiends have been scaring the life out of people. Not just regular vampires, but weird variations like the goat-sucking chupacabra, the ghoulish Naxir, and the shape-shifting Strigoi. Imagine a creature draining you of your blood in order to temporarily sate its unquenchable thirst. Sure, a nighttime visit from a vampire might sound like an erotic premise, but in application, it would be a most grisly end to your life. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. Manananggal. Never heard of it? Consider yourself lucky for having avoided this pure dose of nightmare fuel as long as you did. We are here to ruin that for you. This walking and flying horror show, hailing from the Philippines, is like a vampire on steroids. It also puts most other creatures on our list to shame with its characteristics. It's a hideous woman-like being that's capable of, wait for it, severing its own body in half at the torso. The upper half flies off in search of prey, while the creepy, bloody lower half just stands there. It likes to feed on pregnant women, using its long, snake-like tongue to suck up the fetus. Sweet dreams.